All right, hey, this is Davin with Redline Rebuild Updates. Today I'm back on the Buick and specifically the cylinder head and reassembling that. Now, when we last left, I was fitting this printed piston into our block and then of course used our assembly or our head as a mock-up assembly and checked it all for clearance, and everything is a go on this design. So JE is in process of making us some pistons, and hopefully we'll see them very soon. But for today, I am going to get the head assembled. Now, we had some issues with the head if you look back, and what it amounted to is our valves had a little step down right here, and basically it was going to tear up the seal. So I got some new valves that will rectify that problem. And then the other item was the springs wanted to go on really hard. The inner springs wanted to go on here really hard. And they go on much better, even though that might have looked hard. So now these will go on a whole lot better. Basically what it amounted to is I took a cutter and cut this OD down. Now, you're gonna ask, why didn't you catch that when you're at the machine shop, and why didn't you do it on the Surdy? Well, I can do it by hand for the amount that I need to shave off. And two, I didn't get these springs until after we were done machining and actually painting the head. So, kind of is what it is. And since I wasn't willing to give up, we did it that way, cleaned everything off real well, and it's all ready to go for assembly. So with that, time to get to work. All right, so that's our final assembly on the cylinder head. I cannot take this any further as far as like putting the shaft rocker assembly on here, because then when I go to put it onto the engine, I'll be fighting push rods and the shaft assembly all at once. So when I go to assemble this onto the short block of the engine, what I'll do is I'll set the head on, tighten it all down, and then put all the push rods in, and then the rocker assembly. So quite honestly, at this point, I'm stuck, because I can't continue with the engine because I don't have any pistons at this point. So with that, the Buick is back on pause as quick as it started. So I'm gonna cover this up for right now, and I'm gonna move on to the next project that we've been anxiously trying to get to, and that's an upgrade to an old project. So let's go find it. All right, we exchanged one green truck for another green truck. But here's the way I think. If you get stuck on one project, put it aside and start something else. So here's the plan. If anybody doesn't remember this 1946 Ford pickup truck, this is a truck we built back in 2015 on the Hershey Swap Meet grounds. So we drug it out there. It had a cab and a chassis, and we built this truck in 4 days, meaning we put the motor in it, we put the transmission in it, we put a bed on it, we made it drive, basically go down the road, turn, and stop. So that was the project, and if you need to see that, they'll put a link right up here for that build. And then also, if you don't remember this truck from anything else, you might want to revisit the Redline Rebuild archives, I'll call it. And this is our flathead Ford engine that we did a Redline build on and put that into this truck as well. So that is the motor that it left with from Hershey. We just freshened it up. And now it's time for a couple more things. So this was, obviously, in the day, this is a hay wagon, for lack of a better term, meaning a farm truck, and not meant to go really more than 55 miles an hour down the road. Now, when we drove this across country a couple times, that 55 is all fine and dandy until you want to be on a highway. So the plan is I have a transmission out of a S10 pickup truck, mid-80s, that we're going to transplant into this. So then we have a overdrive transmission. So we'll have a 5-speed instead of a 3-speed. So, and that is it right here in all of its glory as I got it from the salvage yard. So we're going to put the kit on it that modifies it so it backs up to the back end of the flathead Ford, and then we'll be rowing 5 gears instead of 3. That's our plan. We'll get back on the Buick as soon as we have parts for it. This will be a DIY video, so stay tuned for those. Until then, of course, get in the shop, get your work done, because as you saw from the drive, it's a pretty decent day out. I mean, shoot, even if it's raining, it's better than working. So, see ya.